Welcome to Rome. We're not exactly round the corner from the Colosseum. The Champions' Den is 15 miles south. Mauro Galvano, nicknamed Rocky, arrogant and self-assured. Nigel Benn, a calm and menacing figure at today's weigh-in. In fact, we're inside an ice rink at Marino. It's an intimidating Italian job for the British challenger. Hello, good evening to you all. This is what you call a ringside seat. Nigel Benn really attempting to grab himself a slice of boxing history. Maurice Hope is the only British fighter ever to win a world title over here in Italy. That was something like 13 years ago. And since then, precious little has happened to contradict that old boxing saying. In Italy, you've got to knock them out to get a draw. But Nigel Benn is in shape to throw those history books right out of the window. Benn's never prepared like this. He knows that within the fight game, beating an Italian champion in Italy for a world title is regarded as mission impossible. It's nearly 2 years since Benn lost his world crown to Chris Eubank after a compelling and hurtful battle. Benn Eubank 2 is still on the cards. As world champion, Benn would command a very big purse. Mauro Galvano's the reigning champ and the local hero. Sugar Ray Leonard is the only other fighter to hold this WBC 12-stone championship. It's Galvano's third defence. But fighting away from home inspires Benn. On the boardwalk in Atlantic City, he blew away a real hard case, Doug DeWitt, and claimed the world middleweight crown. In his first defence, another away day in Las Vegas, Iran Barkley is mugged. It's all over in the first round.
I love fighting away from home because I love the hostile crowd. I love people like shouting, screaming at me, giving it to me. It's just like when I fought Barkley. All these corner men were pointing at me going, yeah, that's him, that's the one. I was going, yeah, I'm the one, I'm ready. And Barkley was looking at me and saying, please don't wind him up. I've got him in, in a couple of seconds. So I love the crowd, like, the hostile crowd.
Benn's got a new trainer, the experienced and knowledgeable Jimmy Tibbs. They spent 2 months in Tenerife and completed the build-up quietly and efficiently at the Sports Village in Norwich. What a contrast to the over-the-top hype before the Watson and Eubank fights. The photographers are lone raiders here. Benn's kept himself to himself. He's done his work and has responded superbly to his new trainer. Benn the boxer is on the back burner. The master blaster's back. It's all down to Tibbs.
I just love the way he controls everything. And that buzz, that's what I love. And you go, the way he talks, he can't hurt you. You've been in with them all. Barkley, Doug DeWitt, Robbie Sims, Eubanks, Watson, you've been in with them all. He hasn't. And I was like, yeah, you're right, Jim, you're right. Now get out there and go and give me some work on the pads and it's a real buzz, it really is. He's got back the old dart destroyer. I don't want to be Mr. Nice Guy. That's all out the window. I don't like being honest with you in boxing. There's so much scum in boxing, I'm sorry to say. But that's the way you got to be. You got to be, it's like dog eat dog. You can't be being Mr. Nice Guy in boxing. Yeah!
Galvano's very slippery. None of his 24 opponents have put the Italian on the floor. Benn says he's the man for the job.
If he wants to come and box me, you got 12 rounds, and I will catch him in 12 rounds, and I will break him up. I can assure you that now. He can hold on as much as he wants, but every time he comes in, he's going to get something good.
Well, he's in great shape. I feel sure that Nigel Benn has got to stop Galvano to win the title here. Opinion sharply divided at ringside. A lot of people feel the Italian's going to be too clever, that Benn's going to get frustrated and he'll tire and his challenge will be unsuccessful. You can hear the hostile welcome he's getting. I reckon Nigel Benn is in shape to nail the Italian champion. But I've just been handed a tremendous piece of footballing news concerning Leeds United. Leeds stay in the European Cup. They will play another match against Stuttgart, a third match on a neutral ground, and that ground will be decided by UEFA next week. UEFA had a 4.5-hour meeting in Zurich. That third match has been decided, and Stuttgart have been found guilty and also fined something like £4,000 for making that protest about Gary Speed. That's great news for Leeds United. Let's hope Nigel Benn can put the smile back on the face of British boxing. We're back with a great world title fight, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes. And welcome back to Marino Ice Rink on the outskirts of Rome. The two fighters are in the ring and ready to go. That's the WBC 12-stone belt being brandished there that belongs to Mauro Galvano at the moment. And Nigel Benn, back to the Dark Destroyer days, absolutely focused on this job. He had the sort of eyes that reminded me of Linford Christie when he won that Olympic gold a couple of months ago. This is a big, big fight for Nigel Benn, and Jimmy Tibbs, his trainer, who has worked to get him in terrific shape. Every fighter will tell you he's in the shape of his life, but I believe that about Nigel Benn for this one. Just beaten by a couple of fighters, Michael Watson and Chris Eubank, and Eubank is at ringside here tonight. But this is going to be a really, really tough job for Nigel Benn. And on this ice rink, he has got to stay icy cool. There's Chris Eubank on holiday, in fact, and he says he's here because he's really fascinated by this contest. And for some reason, the American national anthem is being played here for the referee. Just a little burst for the referee from Las Vegas. I thought for a moment they were trying to wind up Nigel Benn by playing the wrong tune, as it were. Well, Mauro Galvano reminds me of that saying, if he was chocolate, he'd eat himself. But the preliminaries are almost over. And right alongside me are your big fight commentary team, Jim Watts and, first of all, Reg Guttridge.
Well, hello. As Jim said, you've certainly got a ringside seat with us here. Very hostile atmosphere indeed, I have to say. He's a little bit of a show-off, is Mauro Galvano, and, well, maybe he doesn't realise that his well-being could well be in jeopardy here, because he is a bit of a hit-and-run merchant. He doesn't score that many knockouts, in fact only 4 from 21 wins. But he's really fancied locally to duck and dive, pinch points in his third defence of the WBC Championship. Super middleweight at 12 stone, and he came in right on 12 stone, the Italian champion. And there he is, pacing up and down, and the record, of course, 133 of 35 there, and 29 stoppages. Well, he may have had 1 or 2 Mexican road sweepers on the way in. Now, I hope that the Italian doesn't lean across and kiss him on the forehead, as the Italian did when he fought the American Ron Essett. No, well, I'm glad about that, because I don't think that Ben would like that. And there he is there. 21 out of 24, and the only one he lost was at the light heavyweight division. So the referee is Joe Cortez, originally from New Jersey, now Las Vegas, and then you've got judges from France, Las Vegas and Belgium. Now he's got to come out blasting Ben. He says it's going to be the old me in there. There's no use me trying to stand and box this fella. I've got a crowd on him, and as you've already heard, the old saying about knocking out to draw. in Italy is fairly true, because there's only ever been 2 British fighters win on points in Italy in World Championship fights, and they were both flyweights. Referee Cortez, by the way, was very strict at the rules meeting about a boxer hitting another one when he was down. That stems, of course, from Ben nailed Iran Barkley in Las Vegas and caused a bit of a storm in the American fight fraternity. Surprisingly, they didn't like the rough stuff. They've been dishing it out long enough. So there's the opening minute gone then, and you can see the pattern that he's going to set. He's already set his stall, I think, Galvano. And he used this ring. It isn't the largest size ring. It's about 18 feet inside, and it can go up to 24. So that would suit Ben. Ducking lower than I've seen him in a long time, Ben, to get in there, Jim.
I think he's looking to the body in the first round, Reg. I think he's looking if he can spend a couple of rounds round about the midriff here, maybe slow this fellow down. I think the main thing Ben must do, he must make his punches count. The good thing about boxing in Italy, you don't have to worry about piling up points, because you don't really think you're going to get a verdict. So conserve energy, make every punch count, don't waste.
For those sequin trunks that Ben has there couldn't be worn in England. They've just brought in a regulation because some of them drop on the canvas apparently. And you may be able to spot that on this trunks there. Andy on the front and Brown on the back. It was dedicated to Ben's elder brother, who sadly died at 17. So now we're wondering whether he's going to land that one punch, as he did against Dan Sherry with an awesome finality. But he struggled a bit against the South African
That won't get through, Reg. Just caught him high.
Oh, followed through with the elbow there. He didn't like that at all. He hurt Ben with that one. It was the elbow. Well, if Ben can make Galvano lose his rag a bit, I think that'll suit him.
There's 2 right hands have got through, 2 decent punches. Galvano took them well, but they're shaking him up slightly.
Well, that's a good start if that keeps up. We're scheduled for 12, but it looks as though Ben's really going for the finish, doesn't it? No question about it. There he is. And listening to Jimmy Tibbs, of course. And also his new personal manager, the current one anyway, Peter De Freitas in the corner. So a good start, I thought, by Benjamin.
Yeah, gets through with a couple of decent right hands. A little bit of rough stuff from Galvano. I mean, that's right out of order. The referee should have been a bit more strict with that. I was worried about Ben there in case maybe a tooth had been damaged, but he seemed to recover from it. But a good round for Ben. He was getting close, he was getting the punches off. This fella's going to be difficult to pin down. He wrestles and grabs.
He's had a couple of 10-rounders against, well, ordinary South American fighters. And he's had 6 over 12 rounds, Galvano. But, as Ben quite rightly says early on, he hasn't fought a puncher like me, and that's quite right. He won the championship from the Argentinian Dario Mattioni, and that was in Monte Carlo.
That's the 3rd time Ben's got through cleanly with that right hand. This is really good news for Nigel Benn.
Different character than the one that fought the South African Malinga, Jim.
I don't know if there's a little bruise showing. See a little redness in Galvano's left eye. I don't think it's a cut, maybe just a bruise. But that's decent right hands getting through. Good news this early. I'm sure if there's a little bit of blood. It's very slight, but there's a little mark on Galvano's left eyebrow.
American referee Cortez establishing his authority very early in this contest, which is good news. Yes, it's just showing a speck of blood now, Galvano, on the left eye, on the eyebrow.
Well, it was a punch that did it, Reg, so with the funny rules that are kicking about, it was definitely a punch that caused it.
Well, we expected bedlam from the Italian crowd, but at the moment Ben's silencing them a bit, isn't he? Attendance was affected by heavy rain in Rome. And he happens to be, I think, the first Roman world champion, Galvano, so you would have expected huge support. See, this relentless pursuit, that's exactly what Ben's got to do now.
Galvano's not a big puncher, Reg, but he's robust enough. I mean, he's holding his own inside. He's certainly strong enough. Not a big puncher, but certainly strong enough.
Trying to stave him off there, Galvano, as we come up to the end of this round. Third round then, and they really built up the crowd at the end of the second there for Galvano. They thought they had something to cheer when he started to get back into the fight, as they say. He really pointed a trade punch as well. That could well be his downfall if he does that. You hang out your chin against a fellow like Ben, even if you haven't been on the floor, you're liable to hit the deck, and well, he definitely would be the author of his own misfortune.
The good thing about what Ben's doing, Reggie, is making Galvano work. He's forcing him into throw leads, and you can see he's uncomfortable doing that. Ben's stalking him, keeping up close, forcing him to throw the leads first, and it's been working.
Oh, it was a good shot inside that, wasn't it? Came back, little uppercut there. He staggered a bit with that, the champion.
See, Ben's tactics are perfect, Reg. He's forcing a counter punch to throw the first punch.
Oh, he's laughing actually, Ben, would you believe this? He can get 20 seconds to get back in the ring, but don't count that as a knockdown, and quite rightly, Joe Cortez is saying, no knockdown.
He's not the most gentlemanly boxer I've ever seen, Reggie. He's doing everything. He's trying to rub his face into his head into Ben's face. He's pushing him through the ropes. As we said earlier, he might not be a puncher, but he's strong enough and he's a rough one.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Jack the Lad outside the ring, and he's showing it inside as well. If either boxer goes down 3 times in one round, now that will not count, because under the World Boxing Council rules, they ruled that one out today. The Italians wanted it in, I think. In fact, Ben, if you recall, against Doug DeWitt and Iran Barkley, actually won with 3 knockdowns in one round. Ropes appeared a bit slack too, Jim, I thought.
Yeah, they do look a bit loose. I mean, Ben's gone through, Galvano almost gone through. But Ben has him looking very ragged, no rhythm. And it's not the kind of fight Galvano would have wanted, but he's reacting well to it, but this is not his kind of stuff. Galvano's clinging on for dear life up close.
Oh, he likes that. Ben loves this rough-up stuff. The old soldier there is really loading up to try and fire the trigger.
I don't know, I think he's worsened that eye a bit, Reg.
Yeah, it has, Jim. You can see that. Galvano a little bit of trouble. It's not serious, I don't think. I'm sure the cornermen can cope with it at this stage anyway.
The referee wants to tidy this up a bit, Reg. Galvano's taking some liberties the way he's laying on and pushing his shoulders through.
You didn't hear the bell. You may hear the bell, actually, the viewers, but it's bad in the hall. So if they hit after the bell here, it will be genuinely that the boxers didn't hear it, although our microphones might be nearer than they can get to it anyway. As I said, there it is. It's quite I'm surprised they're not working on it. He's calling the referee over. He wants the doctor to look at it.
Reggie's looking for a technical draw. That's what he's looking for.
That's what he's looking for, a technical draw here at the end of the third round. That can happen after 3 rounds. If there's an injury, it can be called a technical draw under WBC rules.
This is a real try-on, Reg,
absolutely.
A real try-on.
I don't know how bad the cut is, Jim, but certainly...
I mean, when does a corner call a referee over wanting a fight to stop? When do you ever hear that in your life? This is a real try-on by the Italians.
Oh, dear. Now, if it goes into the 4th round, Jim, then it goes to scorecards.
Goes to points.
But the bell's rung. Now, there's a problem here. The bell's gone for the 4th round, and the fight's over. See, Ben thinks he's won this, Jim, and we think that it's going to be a no decision. And a draw.
Being there was a punch that caused the cut, Reg, I don't know what they're going to come up with.
Aren't we having some controversy in boxing these days now? Ben is wrongly thinking that he's won it, and I'm afraid he's going to be disappointed if it's a draw, because Galvano will keep the title. And as Jim Watt quite rightly pointed out, for Rocco Agostino to call the referee over, knowing that at the end of the 3rd they can get a technical draw, and not if it went on a couple of more rounds, well, then he may not have got the decision anyway, ahead on points on the cards.
See, as well as the cut, the eye has swelled up, Reg, but I've never seen a referee manipulated as much in my whole life. That was a real take-on by the Italians, and if this works for them, it's a disgrace. The referee was totally manipulated, and would expect better from a referee of his experience.
Ben has just tumbled what has happened, actually. Jimmy Tibbs showed out to us, and we said we think it's going to be a draw. And the fact that it's drawn out a long time like this, there's an argument going on there with Roberto Sabatini, the promoter, and Barry Hearn, who's arguing, who's representing Ben. And he's arguing well. This is something that happened at the rules meeting, and he's calling out to the referee. There's no game like the fight game, Jim. I don't know whether he's being congratulated there, but...
I'll tell you what, I wonder how the rule is phrased, Reg. I thought if the referee stops the fight, then it goes, it's a technical draw. But what if they actually retire?
Yeah, we've got to confirm that the Italian corner's arguing that it's a no contest or a technical draw. But Barry Hearn, the British promoter, of course, is arguing strongly for Ben's case.
Well, I would imagine the worst that could happen, Reg, is a rematch. I mean, if this happens, then there'll be an immediate rematch, but still frustrating the way Ben was boxing, the way he was getting through with the shots.
There's going to be a bit of an uproar with the contingent from Britain that I spotted in the back of the hall, the London East End lads, by the look of it. They're not going to be too pleased with this, because I think that they think Ben's won. And yes, get a word with Nigel Benn with Gary Newbon.
Nigel, let me tell you what's going on. The Italians are trying to make it a draw. Barry Hearn is arguing for you with the WBC that it's a technical knockout in your favour. That's why the delay's going on. Nigel?
Sorry, I ain't got nothing to say.
Well, you can see how steamed up Nigel Benn understandably is, and he's going over now, leaning over the ropes. There's the officials there. On the left is the promoter Roberto Sabatini and Barry Hearn, and one of the judges, Arman Kriev. And obviously and back to Gary Newman and hopefully Ben again.
Nigel, come on.
What do you want me to say? What do you expect me to say? I went out there, done the business, and like, you know, you ask me how do I feel, what should I say?
I didn't ask how you felt, I asked you whether you know what's going on.
No, I don't know what's going on.
Well, let me tell you, the Italians are trying to make it into a technical draw. They were looking for a way out. You should be getting a technical knockout, according to Barry Hearn.
Damn right, I should get a technical knockout. I went out there, I trained bloody 13 weeks for this, and now, like, you know,
You were boxing brilliantly, but this is Italy, and this is what goes on over here, Nigel. So you're going to have to hope that Barry Hearn can argue your case down there with the WBC. You were in brilliant form.
Sorry. Okay.
All right, they're going to get him up. Jimmy Tibbs. Jimmy, do you know can you update us? What is going on now?
Well, they're deciding over the points who was in front when he got cut. For my money, Nigel Benn was well in front. Well in front.
It looks like you might get robbed here.
Well, that doesn't unexpected out here, but we've got to wait and see.
Okay, we'll update as soon as we can find out from Barry Hearn. Reg.
Well, what a mess this is, Jim, isn't it?
Well, I think the fact that the Italians quit on their stool, the referee didn't call a halt to the fight. The Italians called a halt themselves. Then it should be throwing in the towel in my books. They should lose the world title. The referee wasn't the one who decided. He was manipulated.
We still haven't got confirmed.
What's what they've got it, Reg?
I think he's got it. I think that they've won a very quick appeal there. He's rushed across the ring, Barry Hearn, to say he's won it. And I hope that that's not premature.
We're live back at home, we're live back home. Come on. Well done, you've got it. Barry Hearn fought very hard down there, and I think he's turned him around.
They tried, mate, they tried.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, yes.
Nigel, come on, what a tremendous result now.
I don't know what to say, I'm speechless.
I tell you what, as you get the emotion down, I mean, a tremendous performance tonight. You really took him on.
Champion, 2 years.
Nigel?
What round?
I know what's going through.
What round? Fourth, I said.
Yep, you did. Gather your thoughts just for a moment. I know you dedicate this to
Over the moon. This is to my brother.
Yes, I know who died.
And to tell you what, he died young. And the other person who gets that belt now is Michael. Michael, I hope you're watching. That is your belt, and no one can take that away from you. That's from me to you with my love, Mike. And that is your belt now.
Nigel, just behind our cameraman there is Chris Eubank, who's come to watch you tonight. Oh, this is great. Well done.
Now we can do business. Now we can do business. You hear me? Yeah, now we can do business.
Okay. Chris, are we going to get this fight on?
Nigel has accepted. I accept. I mean, let's do it. Yeah. I mean, I'm here. I'm ready.
We'll talk to you just about it.
I want me belt. I want me belt.
They're trying to get it called off again.
I'll tell you what, I'm calming down a bit now. If I got carried away, it was so amazing in here. The different contrast, the rows with the Italians.
Unbelievable.
Basically trying to cheat out of it.
Well, they're still trying now. It's incredible. The rules are quite specific. On a legal blow, the fight can be stopped on the first punch of the first round. On a foul, if it's in within 3 rounds, even an unintentional foul, it's a no contest. But this was a clear blow. Fortunately, I'm so pleased we've got one of the world's great referees. Of course, and he said, what's the dispute? Nigel Benn is the new world champion. The Italians don't like it. They're trying to pull every stroke. They're pulling more strokes than Oxford, but they're not going to get away with it.
So,
one against the head in Italy, and Nigel Benn's the new world champion.
It was a great performance by him tonight, wasn't it?
It's a great performance. He did exactly what he had to do. Cut the man off and then crack big right hands over the top. That's what opened the cut. That's what won him the belt.
He's getting the belt on now, actually. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the belt.
No!
Oh, they still haven't got the belt here. They've got the belt coming up now, Nigel. I don't think the Italians want to give it to you, actually.
Yeah, they're going to give it to me.
Actually, you knew you had to knock him out because of the reputation of point scoring here.
I think in the world, when you fight for a world title, I think it's fair. But you see him there, they're screaming. They thought, oh, let's stop it. Let's see if we can get a technical draw. That's their tactics. I was in there. I mean, bobbing and weaving. He weren't catching me with nothing. I went out there, trained 13 bloody weeks for this.
And the thing about it, there's a lot of things I'd like to say. I'd like to, you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to thank people in Tenerife who looked after me. That's the Hollywood Mirage, Ra-Ra's, Bobby's Bar.
Just saying, Nigel, because what we really want to know now is this fight with Chris Eubank going to be on?
One thing I'd like to say, I'll answer that. I'd like to thank Jim. I'd like to thank Jim Watt for his criticism. His criticism is good. It helped me a lot. Thanks a lot, Jim Watt. And I'd like to thank all them people out there, all them armchair critics who slagged me off. You lot ain't worth a hand job. I'm sorry to say that. I wanted to say that.
What about this fight with Chris Eubank? He's sitting down there. He's right here listening.
Well, me and Chris know we're going to get it on now, and like me and Chris. You know, he's got his belt, I've got my belt now, and we're definitely going to get it on now.
Okay.
Get it on.
Thank you very much indeed.
Been after you for 2 years. Nice to see you.
Nigel, have you put down in this press?
Well, welcome back to these chaotic scenes here in Rome. Chris Eubank, I think probably the calmest fella in the place. Chris, 1 or 2 scraps going on in the ring. Gary Newbon doing probably as well as the 2 fighters in there, I would think, after the fight. But what's your dispassionate view of what Nigel's done here tonight?
He came out, he forced the pace, he cut the fellow, he hurt the fellow. This was the Dark Destroyer come back. The man is reliving his past being, and he looked good. He looked good.
How did you feel? I mean, at one stage it looked as though it might not happen for him, that he might get robbed of that decision.
I mean, I said to my wife, she's here with me tonight, I said to her, there's no way they can blatantly take this one away from him. I mean, he won this clear cut. If it would have went to the scorecards, as I think it did, you know, he won it shut out every round.
It was very much, as we suggested at the start of the show, the old Dark Destroyer back in there. But now, Chris, people are going to demand that the 2 of you get it on.
Well, as you know, I accepted the fight back in, when was it? June 27th?
Something like that, right.
When I fought Ron Essett, and I understood afterwards that he declined. He said he wanted to go away and get another world title.
I think it was the financial reasons, that, in fairness.
Yeah, so he said. Now he's got a title, he's already came over to me and he said that he's looking forward to doing business with me now. And fortunately for the British public and the British boxing fans,
I mean, you're bitter rivals, but seeing him winning that belt, only the 2nd British fighter to lift a belt here in Italy, I mean, taking all that rivalry aside, it's a heck of an achievement by Nigel Benn here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's only that type of man who could actually come to Italy and do such a job, you know. He's got a bit of luck, the boy, you know. He's good.
And it just goes to show how hard you've got to work for this game, because he really has shut himself away from everybody for nearly 3 months and gone eyeball to eyeball with his trainer Jimmy Tibbs, who got him in great shape tonight.
And I tell you, that's what we're both going to have to do for this next confrontation we're going to have. We're going to have to shy ourselves away and actually get down to the hard sacrifice and the basic grueling tasks of getting into top condition to do the job what we have to do on that night, whenever that night will take place.
That's right. Chris Eubank, thanks very much for joining us. Worth a trip from Monte Carlo to see this one, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Well, there we are. What a dramatic night it's been here in Rome, and there's still people complaining around me. 1 or 2 Italians are still very unhappy about what's happened here. As Barry Hearn said, the Italians had more strokes than the boat race, but it's ended up with Nigel Benn on top of the world. Leeds are back in Europe. Nigel Benn rules the world. Not a bad night. Bye-bye from Rome.